Alright, let's get into this. This is the Cleveland Browns organization imploding spectacularly following yesterday's shocking Joe Flacco trade announcement. You're witnessing this correctly. This isn't routine veteran departure. This represents complete organizational meltdown, exposing fractures festering since draft night. The trade itself, relatively straightforward. Flacco shipped to Indianapolis for a conditional 6th round selection, but the aftermath, absolute chaos, because immediately every single question shifted toward one name. Shedeur Sanders, the rookie 5th rounder suddenly standing alone without a veteran safety net, without organizational excuse, without anywhere left to hide from the inevitable truth. Cleveland's quarterback situation just became the unavoidable reality check nobody wanted confronting. Here's what detonates across the football landscape immediately following trade confirmation. Reporters swarming the Browns facility, demanding answers. Social media erupting with speculation. National analysts dissecting every organizational communication, searching for hidden meanings. Yet Kevin Stefanski maintains a calculated silence. The front office releases a generic statement thanking Flacco's professionalism. Zero mention regarding Sanders' future role. That omission speaks louder than any prepared remarks. Fans recognize the avoidance tactics instantly, the message transmitted through the silence. Cleveland's coaching staff remains unconvinced despite eliminating alternative options. Then Shedeur Sanders breaks his silence. Standing before a media gathering following Thursday afternoon practice, the rookie quarterback delivers a statement resonating far beyond typical post-practice sound bites. His demeanor, remarkably composed. His tone, controlled yet pointed. His words, chosen deliberately, calculated for maximum impact without crossing professional boundaries. Look, I didn't make this trade. I didn't ask for it. I respect Joe and everything he's done, but at the end of the day, my job doesn't change. I'm here to compete. I'm here to win, and if people don't believe I can be that guy, that's on them, not me. The football world stops breathing momentarily. Those 43 words instantly transform from routine media availability into a viral phenomenon. Twitter explodes within minutes. Instagram comment sections overflow. YouTube channels scramble uploading reaction videos. Fans didn't anticipate Sanders addressing the situation publicly. They expected political correctness, sanitized responses, carefully crafted non-answers typical from rookies navigating complicated organizational dynamics. Instead, Sanders delivered authenticity, vulnerability, and an unmistakable message directed toward a coaching staff questioning his readiness. Don't misunderstand the context here. This transcends rookie frustration or typical training camp positioning. Multiple sources familiar with the Browns' internal dynamics describe a growing tension throughout the facility since Flacco's arrival months earlier. Sanders expected legitimate competition, fair evaluation, an opportunity to prove his capabilities against an established veteran. Instead, he reportedly watched Stefanski defer consistently toward Flacco. Despite Sanders outperforming expectations throughout the offseason program, training camp installations, and preseason exhibitions, the rookie executed the offensive system flawlessly. His processing speed impressed position coaches. His arm talent generated highlight reel throws against starting defenses. Yet Stefanski maintained public ambiguity regarding depth chart positioning, constantly referencing competition, evaluation processes, and veteran experience. Flacco's presence provided a convenient organizational shield protecting Cleveland from the inevitable Sanders conversation. Coaches could deflect questions citing veteran leadership value. The front office could avoid declaring premature commitment toward a 5th round selection. Ownership could delay addressing whether Sanders represents a franchise cornerstone or a developmental project. That shield suddenly evaporated. The trade removes every excuse, every buffer, every rationalization delaying the unavoidable decision. Sanders stands alone now. No veteran mentor absorbing media scrutiny, no experienced backup justifying a cautious approach, just one rookie quarterback and an organization desperately avoiding commitment despite eliminating alternatives. Here's where the situation intensifies dramatically. Social media reaction proves absolutely explosive. Hashtags Jabrowns in trouble and trust 1-2 trend nationally within 30 minutes following Sanders' comments. Browns supporters flooding platforms demanding Stefanski officially name Sanders the starter immediately. The discourse reveals a fascinating division among the Cleveland faithful. Younger fans champion Sanders unconditionally, citing generational talent, a modern skill set, and marketability transcending traditional quarterback evaluation. They reference Colorado statistics, highlight compilations, and pro-day measurements. Their argument, straightforward talent, obvious obvious, hesitation inexcusable. Conversely, traditional Browns supporters express cautious skepticism rooted in organizational trauma spanning decades. They've witnessed countless quarterback experiments collapse spectacularly. They remember draft busts, failed reclamation projects, and veteran acquisitions imploding predictably. Their hesitation stems from self-preservation rather than doubting Sanders specifically. One viral tweet captures the sentiment perfectly. "We've been hurt too many times. Sanders looks great, but so did everyone else before they destroyed our souls." But fan reactions represent merely the surface-level chaos. Beneath the public discourse, professional analysts dissect Sanders' statement, searching for deeper implications. ESPN's morning show dedicates an entire segment analyzing his word choice, body language, and underlying message. One commentator delivers a particularly damning assessment. When a rookie feels the need to break silence after a trade, it means he doesn't trust his coach. This could get ugly. That analysis spreads rapidly across the sports media ecosystem. Suddenly, the narrative shifts from trade mechanics toward relationship fractures between Sanders and the coaching staff. NFL Network analysts offer contrasting perspectives. Some praise Sanders' confidence, interpreting the comments as a leadership demonstration rather than organizational criticism. Others question the wisdom of publicly expressing frustration regardless of its validity. A former quarterback turned analyst delivers a nuanced take. Shedeur is not wrong feeling frustrated, but speaking publicly creates unnecessary pressure on the coaching staff. Now Stefanski must respond, either commit fully to Sanders or risk appearing weak, indecisive, potentially losing locker room confidence. That pressure intensifies exponentially throughout the following 24 hours. Local Cleveland reporters cultivate sources throughout the organization seeking insider perspectives. Multiple leaks emerge, painting a troubling picture regarding the Browns' internal dynamics. According to sources close to the situation, Stefanski faces immense pressure from ownership and the fan base simultaneously. Jimmy Haslam reportedly advocated strongly for Sanders during the draft process, viewing him as a potential franchise savior, combining talent with marketability. General manager Andrew Berry supposedly supported the selection while emphasizing realistic developmental timeline expectations. Stefanski's hesitation allegedly stems from legitimate football concerns rather than personal bias or organizational politics. Sources suggest the coach prioritizes experience, system mastery, and pre-snap processing speed, qualities typically requiring seasons to develop rather than immediate rookie contributions. His preference toward Flacco represented a coaching philosophy rather than a Sanders evaluation specifically. However, external pressures now force an immediate decision contradicting his preferred developmental approach. The coach finds himself navigating an impossible scenario: maintain football integrity while satisfying ownership mandates and fan expectations. Here's what makes this potentially catastrophic for Cleveland's season. Training camp concludes rapidly. The regular season opener approaches relentlessly. Defensive coordinators study the Browns' situation, recognizing potential competitive advantage. If Sanders starts week 1 without proper preparation, opponents will exploit his inexperience mercilessly. If Stefanski delays commitment further, the locker room questions leadership conviction. Either scenario creates organizational vulnerability, threatening the season before meaningful competition even begins. Locker room dynamics reveal additional complications. Veterans bouncing between teams throughout their careers understand organizational dysfunction indicators immediately. They've witnessed everything: coaching changes, front office overhauls, ownership interference. Multiple players reportedly expressed private concerns regarding the current situation. One offensive lineman supposedly told a trusted reporter, "We just want clarity. Good, bad, whatever. Just tell us who's leading us so we can prepare properly." Another veteran defender allegedly stated, "Both Joe and Shedeur deserve better than this mess. Someone needs to make actual decisions instead of hoping situations resolve themselves." That lack of decisive leadership creates invisible fractures undermining team chemistry. Championship contenders require organizational alignment, clear hierarchies, and consistent messaging. Cleveland demonstrates the opposite: hesitant coaching, frustrated ownership, and confused players. Talent becomes irrelevant amid such dysfunction. Consider the Browns' roster construction: elite defensive personnel, including Myles Garrett anchoring the pass rush, offensive weapons featuring Nick Chubb, Amari Cooper, and David Njoku, infrastructure supporting immediate competitive relevance. Yet quarterback chaos threatens derailing everything before the season begins. Beyond the Browns' facility walls, the media machinery operates relentlessly, generating content, monetizing organizational dysfunction, national reporters descending upon Cleveland, seeking exclusive angles, local journalists cultivating conflicting sources, producing contradictory reports, former players offering uninformed opinions across podcast circuits, YouTube creators analyzing practice footage frame by frame, searching for body language clues. An entire ecosystem now orbits the Browns quarterback controversy. One inflammatory report generates 1 million impressions overnight. This transcends a sports story toward a cultural phenomenon. Consider Coach Prime's influence permeating the situation despite his public silence. Deion Sanders maintained remarkable restraint since his son's draft selection, avoiding inflammatory commentary that characterized his Colorado tenure. Yet his presence looms throughout the narrative. Previous statements questioning institutional biases against his coaching tree resurface across social platforms. Stories highlighting Shedeur's collegiate accomplishments circulate repeatedly. The subtext is unmistakable. Cleveland better recognize the talent before squandering a generational opportunity through organizational incompetence. League executives observe the situation intensely, recognizing broader implications beyond Cleveland's specific circumstances. This represents a test case regarding rookie quarterback development philosophy. The traditional approach emphasizes patience, structured progression, protecting young signal callers from premature exposure. The modern perspective argues elite talents deserve immediate opportunity regardless of draft position or experience level. Sanders' situation crystallizes this philosophical debate. If he succeeds immediately, it validates the aggressive development approach. If struggles occur, it reinforces traditional cautious methodology. Here's what everyone's missing beneath the surface drama. The Flacco trade timing reveals a strategic miscalculation, exposing organizational dysfunction. Cleveland supposedly evaluated the quarterback room throughout training camp before determining the veteran was expendable. That evaluation period should have produced clarity regarding Sanders' readiness. Instead, the trade occurs without a corresponding commitment toward the rookie starter. That disconnect suggests a communication breakdown between the coaching staff and the front office. Either coaches advocated retaining Flacco while ownership forced the trade, or the front office expected a coaching commitment that never materialized. Neither scenario reflects functional organizational alignment. Financial implications compound the complications. Flacco's departure saves minimal salary cap space while eliminating an insurance policy against Sanders' potential struggles. If the rookie falters early, Cleveland possesses 0 viable alternatives. Backup quarterbacks on the roster represent career journeymen lacking starting capabilities. The Browns essentially committed towards Sanders by default rather than conviction. That distinction matters tremendously. Players recognize the difference between earning an opportunity versus receiving it through organizational necessity. The locker room respects earned positions. They question gifted roles lacking legitimate competition. Examining potential resolutions reveals limited positive outcomes. Scenario 1. Stefanski names Sanders the starter immediately, commits fully toward rookie development. He accepts potential early season struggles while building a long-term foundation. This represents the ideal approach, requiring the coaching staff to swallow their pride, admitting hesitation proved unfounded, and embracing the organizational direction despite personal reservations. Scenario 2. Stefanski maintains ambiguous depth chart positioning through the preseason conclusion, eventually names Sanders the starter while continuing public hedging. This approach satisfies nobody. Fans view it as reluctant acceptance. Sanders perceives continued doubt. Veterans question leadership conviction. Scenario 3 represents the nightmare outcome. Stefanski attempts returning to the veteran quarterback market seeking additional insurance despite cap constraints, further delaying Sanders' opportunity while signaling a complete lack of confidence. Such a move would trigger a fan revolt, potentially fracture the locker room, and create a media firestorm questioning organizational competence. Yet sources suggest certain coaches privately explored this possibility following the trade announcement before ownership reportedly shut down discussions immediately. For Sanders personally, this moment represents a career crossroads. Despite his rookie status, his public statement demonstrated leadership, confidence, and accountability, qualities franchise quarterbacks require possessing. However, creating public pressure on the coaching staff risks damaging relationships requiring repair throughout a potential decade-long tenure. If Sanders succeeds immediately, his comments are viewed as justified confidence. If struggles occur, the statements resurface as premature arrogance. Such risks accompany public declarations, especially for rookies typically advised to maintain low profiles during developmental phases. The psychological component cannot be overstated. Sanders arrives in Cleveland not merely as a prospect, but as the son of an NFL legend, a Colorado star, a social media presence, and an endorsement portfolio. That visibility creates additional pressure transcending the typical rookie experience. Every throw is scrutinized, every decision analyzed, every body language gesture interpreted for hidden meaning. Most 22-year-olds crumble beneath such a microscope. Sanders' composure throughout this chaos demonstrates remarkable mental fortitude, separating media creation from legitimate franchise cornerstone potential. But here's the brutal reality. Talent means nothing without organizational support. Patrick Mahomes doesn't become Patrick Mahomes in a dysfunctional environment questioning his readiness. Joe Burrow doesn't develop into Joe Burrow with a coaching staff hedging commitment publicly. Franchise quarterbacks require organizational conviction, developmental infrastructure, and patience weathering inevitable rookie mistakes. Cleveland's hesitation, regardless of the reasoning, creates a foundation for potential failure rather than success. Consider the divisional implications. The Browns compete within the AFC North, featuring established franchise quarterbacks in Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. Pittsburgh is developing Kenny Pickett within a stable organizational structure. Cincinnati and Baltimore possess clear quarterback situations, enabling roster construction around known commodities. Cleveland's ongoing chaos creates a competitive disadvantage before the season begins. Opponents recognize the dysfunction, prepare accordingly, and target organizational vulnerability ruthlessly. This situation represents more than a quarterback controversy. This embodies a complete organizational failure requiring immediate intervention. Jimmy Haslam must establish a clear decision-making hierarchy. Andrew Berry needs to assert front office authority. Kevin Stefanski requires making a definitive commitment, regardless of personal reservations, until organizational alignment occurs. Talent becomes irrelevant amid the dysfunction defining Cleveland Browns football throughout painful decades. Sanders broke his silence. The ball now rests firmly within the coaching staff's court. The response determines whether Cleveland salvages the season or watches another promising roster sacrificed upon the organizational dysfunction altar. Time expires rapidly. Decisions require making immediately because continuing this chaos guarantees one outcome. The Browns remain in trouble. Sanders' development suffers unnecessarily. Another Cleveland season implodes predictably before meaningful competition begins. This is bad. Really bad.